I didn't know when, I didn't know how, but I knew that one day I was going to pay it forward. And I always had this in the back of my mind, but I knew I was going to finish school and things like that. I knew that just because I had to take care of this little person, that doesn't mean my life was going to stop. It was just to tell me, oh, now you really have to go hard.
Welcome to the One Girl Revolution podcast. If you're new here, please make sure that you subscribe to the One Girl Revolution podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at One Girl Revo, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at One Girl Revolution. You can find all of our podcast episodes, original documentary series, and so much more on our website at onegirlrevolution.com. That's the number onegirlrevolution.com. I'm really excited to welcome Tyra Moore to the podcast today. She's the founder of A Girl Like Me. Tyra herself was a teen mom and founded A Girl Like Me to help other teens and young moms with resources, education, and support. Tyra has an incredible story, and what she's created through her nonprofit is something we should all take note of and strive to emulate. We should all find ways to support teens in our lives and to support mothers. We all need community and we all need support, but I really believe that young women and young moms need support more than anyone. I am so honored and excited to share this story with you and to share this incredible organization, A Girl Like Me, with you today. So without further ado, here's Tyra. Tyra, welcome to the One Girl Revolution podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am really excited to have you on to talk about your life and your story and all the great work that you're doing. But before we get into all of that, I'd love to ask you, who is a one girl revolution in your life? Who's a woman or girl that's inspired you?
I want to say my daughter Samari, which she's 15 years old, and she's the reason for the Girl Like Me.
That's awesome. And I love stories like that, where it's like your daughter, you know, it's like these generational things. And I know you work with so many girls every single day, and so you probably could talk about all of them. But yeah, your daughter is a little revolutionary, and she's going to go on to do great things, I'm sure. How old is she?
She's 15.
Oh, that's awesome. She's right in the realm of the girls that you're working with every single day. That's so cool. That's awesome. Yes. So let's talk about your story. I'd love to talk about, a little bit about your background, where you're from, a little bit about your evolution story. So if you wouldn't mind sharing just a little bit about your story, who you are, where you're from, and maybe kind of the story that led you to what you're doing now.
Okay, so I'm Tyra Moore. I used to be Tyra Woods. So I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I grew up on 6 Mile and Puritan in my grandparents' home. I had a very nice upbringing. My parents were in the church. And when I was born, my mom, she was married. But as I got older, I think I was around like 2 or 3 when my parents did get a divorce. So I grew up good. I want to say good, yes. But I did go through like bullying because I was a chubbier kid. I had an older sister, which we're 5 years apart, but we're best friends. And I really enjoyed childhood besides the bullying and things like that. But other than that, I really enjoyed my childhood. And about how I got pregnant. So I ended up meeting a boy like around 12 at first. It was 12. I met him and he was cool. He was nice. He was sweet. And we ended up falling out, I think, on my birthday. And he had poured, I think, milk on me. And my sister, she was so mad about it that we ended up almost getting into a whole like block fight. Like he stayed on the block behind me and we ended up about to fight, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And so after those couple of years, I didn't see him or anything like that. And I just remember us end up talking back to each other. No one knew we were talking. My mom was going through a lot with my grandma. She had dementia and she was between households. Me and my sister, we were staying at our home on the east side. My mom was back and forth east and west side to take care of my grandma. So we end up talking again. It was a secret. No one knew. And of course, that was my first time ever having sex and my first time I got pregnant. So no one knew I was pregnant at all. Like I was scared to tell anyone. I told my best friend, and of course he knew. He told me before I really even knew. And I just remember my mom finally giving me that talk because one of my friends at church, she was 14 and she was pregnant. And she was like far along, maybe like 6 months. But all along, she talking to me about it, and I'm pregnant as well. I was too scared. Like my mom, she was strict, and I didn't know what to expect. So I never got any like prenatal care. I never got anything. And I ended up going to my sister's house on my father's side. And she was like, "You look sick and you look pregnant." And I'm like, "No, no, I'm not. No, I'm not." So she ended up taking me to the doctor, to the hospital under one of her sister's name so they can treat me. And come to find out I was 36 weeks pregnant. They checked me and everything. Yes. And
Wow.
when my mom found out, it was on a Tuesday. In that same week, that Friday, like 1:10 a.m., I gave birth to my daughter. And we didn't even know she was a girl till she arrived. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure going through that, and I've heard so many stories. I even have family stories. I think we all know these interesting stories where people didn't know that they were pregnant or they tried to hide it because fear is such a big thing in all of our lives. And I'm sure you didn't know as much as you had support in your family and support of your friends. It's like, you don't know how people are going to react. And that's something that I see in the culture that I want to see change because it is an empowering thing. And we should be talking about like supporting women and girls, no matter what the circumstances are in these scenarios.
Yes.
And so that's what you're doing now. So you have this sweet baby, your daughter. And what was the experience like? I know that you were fearful to tell people, but then once you told people and they kind of got over the shock of it, did you feel supported? Was it really difficult? What was that experience like?
So at first I was really nervous, like being in the hospital. Of course, I'm just a 14-year-old regular girl, but I'm having a child and I'm still a child myself. And I remember us getting released from the hospital and arriving to my grandmother's house, and up the stairs, up into the house, we could barely get in because our community friends and family all came through. And I had things that lasted for Samari for 2 years. I don't even remember my mom having to buy diapers like that. Everyone just really came through and supported. But I was kind of nervous about that because, like I said, I got bullied at school, kids on my block and things like that. So I just knew now that I have a baby, it's going to be worse. So I just remember like seeing that and like crying. And I just was looking at my baby when we got in the house. And I said, one day I am going to pay it forward. So I didn't know when, I didn't know how, but I knew that one day I was going to pay it forward. And I always had this in the back of my mind, but I knew I was going to finish school and things like that. I knew that just because I had to take care of this little person, that doesn't mean my life was going to stop. It was just to tell me, oh, now you really have to go hard.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I did.
Women and girls are stronger than they know. My mom used to be a doula, and she talks so often about how pregnancy and motherhood show women and girls how strong they really are. Because we don't think like, oh, I could never do that. And I don't know. And I'm sure that you had moments like that. And you probably have moments like that now, like with a teenager. I don't know if I can do this anymore. But it shows us like how strong we really are. And women are fierce and have so much power. And sometimes we have to go through these experiences to find that power. And I know that you did. So you continue to go through life. You reflect, I'm sure, so many times on how generous and supportive people were in those first couple of years with your daughter. What made you end up wanting to start A Girl Like Me? What was the spark moment, or what was the moment in your life that you were like, hey, I got to start something to support women like me?
So this is kind of like a long story, but like I said, when I was 14, I just knew that one day I wanted to pay it forward. I didn't know how, didn't know when, but I knew one day I was going to do it. So as I got older, of course, I finished high school. I didn't finish with my my classmates, but I did online school and I finished. I worked a few jobs. I ended up getting my first little apartment when I was 20 years old. I didn't have a car then, but I was still working. My mom was helping me out, taking me back and forth to work and things like that. And then a situation occurred with the housing unit. They weren't fixing anything. So I ended up moving out and staying with my parents. With my sister and my mom and my niece, but my niece and daughter is 8 months apart. So I ended up moving with them. And then I had just one day wrote a status on Facebook and I was like watching my life go down because I felt like everything was falling apart at this time. And one of my friends had liked it or whatever. So I'm like, who is this? So I end up meeting someone else, another guy. I had met him. And from that day forward, we would talk. We met each other. And I told him about my situation, my story. He already had a son, too. His son was 1 year old. So that was September 2012. So I just remember him telling me, like, one day I'm going to make you my wife. So I believed it, of course. And like I said, I was real strong on what I wanted to do one day. No, I didn't have a name. I didn't have anything. I just told him, my story and what I wanted to do. So with him, I ended up becoming not only a teen mom, I became a young mom. So me and him had our first child. I was 21. And then we had our second child. I was 22. So I was a teen mom, then coming into being a young mom with 3 small children. So what we did, we worked, we got things together to provide. We were staying in separate households, and then we end up staying with his mom. And then we worked and saved money and did things. I knew we were just saving so we can get us a place. And fast forward to 2019, we end up saving, of course, like $10,000. Now we could have bought a house, we could have did whatever with this money, all that. We were working. And I ended up working for Sinai Grace Medical Center as a medical assistant. I started that job in the beginning of 2020. Ended up getting laid off March of 2020 because of the pandemic. So I had told him, like, I wanted to go strong with what I wanted to do. Actually, I missed the part. I'm sorry. So in 2019, I ended up doing like a vision board party with his cousin. She has an organization. So she let me come into the lock-in. I did vision board party with the girls. I gave them a Girl Like Me journals. And I really didn't even have a name. So we had went on like a little drive, one of our drives we do. And it just came to me, A Girl Like Me. And I'm like, that's a good name. So take me to the city county building so I can get that name, registered. So that's what I did. So that's how I came up with the name A Girl Like Me. But during the pandemic, when I got laid off, I'm like, I want to do something big. This was like the perfect time to do things. So what we did, we went to all the stores, Myers, Kroger's, Walmart's, and we were just buying up all the diapers, the formula, wipes and things. And we would do porch drop-offs to moms. And then I told him, like, no, I want to go stronger. I want to go harder. So once we were able to go out, everyone could come outside and things like that. July 2020, I had did a big old community event. I gave out diapers, wipes, baby clothes, feminine products, just everything. And then from there, it just took off. A Girl Like Me took off.
It's the silver lining with COVID, right? Like so many obviously it was so difficult for everyone. It still is difficult for people in so many different ways, but it's so beautiful to hear stories like yours where had it not happened, who knows, like you might have started A Girl Like Me at some point, but just to be able to go hard and push things out there, especially when people needed it so desperately. And I remember seeing different news stories about senior living facilities and specific groups of people, right? So specific demographics that weren't seeing people or were really scared or weren't able to leave their house. All of us weren't able to leave our house, but I don't remember a lot of stories about moms or, new moms or pregnant women, or especially the demographic that you're working with, girls, teenagers and young moms, and really building community around them. And we need to do that in our day-to-day lives. And it's so simple, right? We've heard recently about the formula shortages and nobody realizes how expensive diapers are, because you're buying them up and even being a mom yourself. But it's so important, the little things that we do. And I love your story, how it was like, hey, I'm just doing what I know. Yes. I know the things that I needed when I was, when I've been a new mom, and maybe I can help other people in that way.
Yes.
And it's simple, so we can all do it. Donate to One Girl Revolution's nonprofit organization to help us continue our work, highlighting inspiring women and girls that are changing the world through their lives, promoting their work and their organizations, and building a powerful and positive force out in the world dedicated to empowering women, their voices, and their stories. Donate at onegirlrevolution.com/donate. That's the number onegirlrevolution.com/donate. So how has it grown? How has your work grown and evolved since the pandemic? What are the types of things that you're doing, the programming, the projects that you're working on right now?
So it has grown so much. Like I literally talk to my husband, talk to my kids, like, wow, I cannot believe this is my life right now. So I did have so many partnerships with like Blue Cross, Meridian, just all types of people just coming in Wayne County and helping and donating to us. And I'm like, I just can't believe this is a thing. Like, I can't believe it. I also got selected this year to be a part of a national a national competition with Essence Magazine. And I was one of the top 3 finalists out of 48 states. And I just couldn't believe it. How that happened, it was like, wow, I believe it was like meant to be. Because when I got the email, I had sent it to all my people and I actually had missed the deadline. And then they end up saying like, we're going to extend it. And I end up getting selected. They had paid for me a flight and everything to go down to Essence Fest where they announced the winner and things like that.
Wow.
DTE, yes. DTE had also, we won a grant from them. We have won a lot of grants and people see our work that is needed. And we just want to continue to help. And also this year, July 2022, I had a teen mom prom because I didn't get a chance to go to my prom because I was a teen mom. So I invited 25 moms to have a prom with me that, they were teen moms and didn't get a chance to go to their teen mom prom. And it just was like, wow. Rashida Tlaib came and spoke. Channel 7 News came out. And it was just so amazing because even though we were teen moms and how the stereotypes is with teen moms and things like that, we are still human. We still deserve everything that everyone else deserves, if that makes sense.
It does.
So I just felt that, I didn't know when. I really wasn't thinking about a prom back then, but I'm like, I never had a prom. Let me try to put something together so me and other moms can come together. And it made it even better because we have our kids, they're older now. We can really enjoy ourselves. We can drink, we can do things that we want to do at prom. And it was wonderful.
That's amazing. And it's being with people like you too. I think that it probably would be difficult I remember my prom and not wanting to go because like I didn't have a date or, all the different reasons that teen girls don't want to go to the prom or they want to go, but they just feel like they're going to stick out or, nobody, whatever, for whatever reason. But just to create a space like that where it's like, hey, we're all the same in this. Like we all have the same struggles, many different struggles too, but we all can come together and celebrate and be together and have a blast. And that's awesome. Are you going to continue to do that annually?
I would love to. Yeah. I would love to continue to make it an annual thing, invite different 25 moms. And they also were able to bring a date. And, I would love to do it annually. Yes.
That's awesome. Well, you're doing so many incredible things. Just to kind of run through, I was going through your website and just blown away, but you provide free diapers and wipes, like you mentioned, baby milk and food, new and gently used baby items, clothing and shoes, personal hygiene kits, which is so important, female products, so important, a mentoring program for girls, moms, and young moms. Gosh, I mean, I'm going through all the list of things. Your mission is to educate and encourage girls, teens, teen moms, young moms, and between the ages of 11 and 25 to make healthy life choices. I mean, you're really building community around these girls. And that's what really, I think our world needs more than ever is building community.
Yes, it's just it's awesome. It's just amazing because the community, they constantly come through with sending me all their baby items. They don't throw it away. They don't donate it to like Salvation Army. They will bring it to us because we go through it. I have a team that go through the donations. We make sure everything is clean and good, gently used, and we just give it right back out to the community, to moms in need. And also when moms, they donate things back to us. So, and also I do diaper trading because a lot of moms may not have the money to get more diapers or may still have like the size ones, the newborns. And what I would do, I would take those and give them bigger sizes. So yeah.
How do you get connected to the moms that you serve? And I'm sure it's a whole variety of different ways. Some people might hear about you on Facebook, or I stumbled upon a story about you and your work. How do you get connected to the moms? And yeah, how do you get connected to the moms that you work with?
Social media, of course, social media. That's how I get connected. Or someone may refer from like a DHS or foster care home things or shelters. I put flyers everywhere. I promote on like Google as well. But most of all, it's social media. A lot of moms come out to all the events we held, and they'll tell their friends, and they'll tell their friends, and it just, the words just get around. Yes.
Do you stay in touch with, I think I know the answer to this question, but do you stay in touch with the moms like after they have their babies, and what does that look like? Do they get involved in your work and donate back to the organization and get involved?
Yes, I keep in touch with majority of all the moms because they may want to need diaper training, or they come in to volunteer, or they may need other items, that we can help with. If I can provide them like another resource, I even try to help them look for jobs when I can, housing. And also I do resume writing. So I try to help them with resumes, any type of resources I can. If I can't provide, I send it to someone that I know can help. But yes, we stay in touch. They may have a problem, or they just want to probably talk and vent, and we just talk to each other and just, help each other out still. Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, that community is so important, and community is so important, particularly for moms, for new moms. I think it can feel very isolating, and isolating no matter who you are, no matter where you live, even if you have the best family in the world, or the best neighborhood or community, but just to have other moms like yourself that people can call and say, hey, I'm having this issue, or just I'm having a breakdown, and I just need somebody to talk to, is so important.
Yes, it is, because I didn't have that. And that's why I wanted to incorporate everything that I needed as a teen, or people I need to talk to, into my program, because everyone needs a Girl Like Me Inc. program for sure.
Yeah. Tyra, this podcast is obviously all about stories, your story, the story of all the women and girls that you're working with. But I'd love to hear a story or two from you about someone specific that you guys have worked with that's benefited from your work. So would you mind sharing a story or two of one of the girls that you've worked with?
Yeah, so I have one mom. Well, I started out, I was in the office in Dearborn. So actually, she was pregnant with her first child. So I had met with her. We talked. I wrote down things that she needed. And she was so excited and happy about all the things I provided to her. She just started spreading the word on Facebook, Instagram. And of course, we kept in touch because I ended up moving to Southfield. And I've been in Southfield for 2 years now. And this is her third child. And I didn't help with each of her kids. And she's been so grateful and thankful. She always volunteers. She doesn't really have family support. So anything when it comes to job or childcare, we talk about it, we pray about it. And every time she needs things, like with clothing size, we trade clothing sizes, diapers. I help her out with everything she needs and give her the resources so that she can pay it forward and also not need our services as much. So that's one of the moms. I have another mom that was with me as well. This is her third child, and she continues to thrive. She started a job. She's finishing her GED program, and she's also plan on working with us. She likes volunteering. She brings the kids because I let the kids come as well. I have activities. They watch like YouTube and things like that. And a lot of my moms, they stick with me. They help out with anything I need them to help out with. They volunteer their time, donate, and it's just a great thing.
You've mentioned a couple of times to me about paying it forward. Is that, I know that's a big mantra for you. Is that something that you really encourage the other girls, like as you're working with them, like, hey, we're doing X, Y, and Z to support you. Remember to pay it forward down the line.
Yes, yes. Paying it forward is always my motto. So when moms like that I have helped want to give me money, want to donate to the organization with cash or things like that, I'm like, no, you keep that money, you pay it forward. If you know someone that may need diapers or may need a formula, anything that you can help them with, help them. You don't have to give us money. Of course, we always need funding, but it's like, no, I don't want to take from the people I help. So what I want you to do is take them funds. You might put in savings, do what you need for a rainy day, something, and just pay it forward. Even if you don't donate items back to us, if you know a mom or a situation, give it to them, help them out, and just pay it forward because it will always come back to you. It's just good to pay everything forward.
That's beautiful. You're reminding me of a Instagram video I saw the other day, and it was a mom who had been through something similar, had been a young mom and didn't have a lot of support. And her now husband, they have a bunch of kids. They decided that the way that they were going to pay it forward now is they'll take a stack of $20 bills and push them into like diaper boxes at the grocery store. So anybody that picks up a pack of diapers, there's a $20 bill in there or a $50 bill. And it's like, it's so simple. I remember seeing that and being like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. I should do that. And now I'm thinking about it again. And I'm like, I should do that. I need to go do that. But it's just the little things that we can all make a difference. And we all have the power to support one another and pay it forward. We all could point back to some point in our lives where we've been helped by someone. So I think that's really incredible that you're encouraging the women in that.
Yes.
So where do you go from here, Tyra? You've accomplished so much in such a short period of time. And I know that you don't have a crystal ball and you can't tell me, what exactly a girl like me is going to look like in a couple of years from now. And it's probably difficult to think about because you're doing so much on a daily basis. But in your dream of dream worlds, where do you hope that a girl like me goes from here? And maybe what are some things that you're working on right now?
So one of the things that we actually are working on is moving. We actually, a pastor of mine, I stay in a Brightmoor community. He has a home and it's been sitting. So he offered to give it to us rent free to run our services. And the reason why I accepted is because I'm in Southfield, of course. A lot of my moms don't have transportation. A lot of my moms, it's hard for them to make it to Southfield. So I wanted to be closer to the community so that, I can help more moms and moms are able to get to me because I hold a lot of my, giveaways in Brightmoor community and all the moms, they are able to come out there. It's no problems with transportation and things. So I want to be closer to the communities that I serve. So that's one of the things. September 1st, we will officially be in Detroit. See happen in the future is to have co-op apartments. Our homeless teen and young moms will live there. I will have jobs for them. They can either work in the kitchen. I will have classes to finish high school, start on college courses. I would love to have a daycare inside. The moms can work in there as well, help each other out until they're ready to leave the real world, leave and go to the real world and have jobs outside of there. I would have a clothing closet for them, for jobs, for just clothing, period. I would have training, get them introduced to like skilled trades and things like that. And most of all, make sure they are comfortable in their rooms and the settings with their kids and help them get on their feet. So again, they can pay it forward, they can help out, and also they can get ready to live on their own. That's the big, huge goal.
That's awesome. I love big goals and big dreams. And I think you're doing so many incredible things and you've done it in such a short period of time. I know that there is just so much potential for where you could go. And I can't wait to continue to follow everything that you're doing. And I want to make sure that One Girl Revolution is supporting you and your community in any way that we can. We're in Detroit too, so I'm excited that you're going to be via our neighbors. And I can't wait to see where you go from here. Tyra, why would you say that? I can tell you my answer to this question for you, but I want to ask you, why do you think that a girl like me and the work that you do is so important? Why is it so critical in this day and age?
I think it's so important and critical in this day and age because a lot of people criticize and have the stereotypes on teen and young moms, but you never know the situation, why they became a teen mom, or just with girls. Because with my mentoring program, I do have girls and teens that aren't teen moms. And not only do I help the teen moms, I help prevent being a teen mom as well. And some girls just don't know things about their bodies, about their menstrual cycles and things like that. Self-care, mental health, friend relationships, things that they should just know, things that I didn't get a chance to go through or talk to anyone about. I let them know about those things. And I think it's just truly important that girls growing into teenagers to young women, you should know any and everything about your body, stuff that's not right, nutrition, family, like I said, family and friends, relationships, things that you see that may not be right and your family and friends don't talk about it. You should have a safe space where you are able to talk to someone about it to see and clarify for yourself, like, is this right? Should I be doing this? Should they be doing this? And I just believe that everyone should have that, whether it's not even a girl group, even with guys, older people. It's just a safe space. I think we all should have a safe space when we are able to talk and learn things about yourself, about other people. And I just really think it's important because it's people all over the world that need this help, even if it's not just talking to them, like products and things. Everyone should help everyone.
Watch In Tandem, the new short documentary by One Girl Revolution, which highlights the incredible story of Caitlin Cullen and her restaurant in Milwaukee, The Tandem. The Tandem is more than a restaurant. It's a family, a community that at its height was a bustling restaurant serving food and supporting every single person who walked through its doors in one way or another. If someone needed a job, you got it. Having a bad day and needing a smile or a laugh, the Tandem's got you. Having a rough time and need support, the Tandem isn't just a restaurant, it's your family. They got you. When COVID hit in March 2020, the Tandem stepped up to serve the community in a new way. They stopped selling food to customers and started solely feeding people in need. The Tandem community ended up feeding over 115,000 people during the first year of the pandemic. Absolutely incredible. Get to know Caitlin and the Tandem story in One Girl Revolution's new short documentary, In Tandem. Watch In Tandem today at onegirlrevolution.com or on YouTube. Please watch and share this inspiring story. Knowledge is power. I had a woman on this podcast, a year and a half ago, I think, who wrote a book called The Fifth Vital Sign. And it's all about teaching girls from the moment that they have their first cycle, teaching them all about their cycle and how we can look at our cycle as being the fifth vital sign, that doctors can identify different nutritional problems or hormonal problems or issues that are going on. We are long past the days of our mothers and grandmothers where it was like this, don't talk about it, like hide in the bathroom. No, we need to talk about it. It's beautiful. And so I love that you're just owning that and saying like, all right, girls, let's talk about all of these different things that are going on with our bodies. And this is beautiful and natural and powerful. Like the fact that women can carry a baby and give birth and it's just amazing.
Yes.
So I just think it's great what you're doing. And I can't wait to see where you go from here. And I want to ask you, Tyra, I have a couple more questions for you, but I'm just so grateful to be connected with you and just so honored to get to know about your work and your own story. But Tyra, what can people do to support a girl like me and all the great work that you're doing?
So A Girl Like Me Inc. is always looking for volunteers. We get a lot of donations in, so we would love for people to volunteer. And we're always in need of diapers and wipes. So if people would like to donate diapers and wipes or volunteer their time, we would love that. That's what we always are in need of.
I will make sure that I post all your social media links, your website, so people can easily get in touch with you. Even if they're not in the Detroit area, they can reach out to you and donate items. But I hope that people will follow you and support your work. I always tell people, and I always say on this podcast, that the free way to support people's work is to follow them on social media and share the great work that they're doing. So I hope people will do that. I know that there are so many different ways too that people can emulate your work in their own communities, no matter where they live. simply by being present to pregnant women and girls and new mamas that they know. What are some ways that people can emulate your work in their own community, no matter where they live?
I would say you can do like drives, even if it's like clothing drives, bottle drives, diaper drives, and give the moms and things my number so they can contact me. We can do like group sessions. Sometimes I do like yoga classes with moms and me. And the goal is to have like hubs in each community so they can go like every 2 weeks to get feminine products and diapers and wipes and things they may need for themselves and their babies. And also, if people are people persons and want to do like little support groups of their own and incorporate a girl like me in it, that would be great. We can do Zoom meetings. We can meet up. I just want to support and let these teens, the girls and the young moms know that, we are available to help. And I just want people to know as well, because I get put in a box a lot, because I help teen moms and I was a teen moms. I don't only help teen moms, I help young moms, and I try not to turn anyone away. If a dad is in need, a grandparent, a mom that's probably 45, 50 that has a child, if she needs help, I'm going to help them. And I just want people to know that I help all moms at a time, all girls at a time, all teens at a time. And I just always just want to be that supportive person that they can come to and get the help that they need.
That's so important. And just like you said, it's so important to recognize that there are so many different people too, boyfriends, husbands, parents that don't know how to talk to their kids or having a hard time. And so it's just incredible, the community that you're building. I can't wait to continue to follow and support everything that you're doing. And hopefully we'll get to meet up in person sometime soon. And maybe there's a collaboration in our future with One Girl and a girl like me, because I just love so much of what you're doing. Tyra, before I let you go, I always end this podcast on one question. And I'd like to ask you, if you could leave women and girls around the world with one message, what would it be?
I would say never give up. Every day is an opportunity to go for your dreams. If you didn't get it right the first time, try again tomorrow or try again later on. Do not let the stress, the anger get to you. You have each day to open an opportunity. Always pay it forward and make sure every day that you wake up, you go outside, you speak to someone, because that could be the perfect networking opportunity. You don't know who you may be speaking to. Always have a smile on your face and just know that you can do it. Any obstacle, look at me. I was a teen mom. I went through it. You can get through any and everything that you put your heart and mind to.
I think it's important too to note, like you said earlier in the podcast, that we don't know what people's situations are too. And so I think there's a lot of judgment in this world. We might see somebody and judge their situation, but we don't really know. And so just being that smiling face or somebody that just strikes up a conversation at a coffee shop or a restaurant or the grocery store, or helps people. We have so many opportunities in our daily lives just to help people.
Yes, definitely. And that actually had happened to me when I had left the Essence Fest. We had to walk as a partner in the airport. And the lady, we end up talking, and she was one of the head leaders of Coca-Cola Foundation. And just from us being partners and, speaking to each other, I found that out. So like I said, every day you wake up and speak to someone is a networking opportunity.
You never know. You never know who you're going to be talking to. But Tyra, I am so grateful for this time with you. I'm so honored to share your story with the One Girl Revolution podcast, a community, and I can't wait to see where you go from here. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, and thank you for all the great work that you do.
Thank you for having us apart. Thank you.
Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at One Girl Revo. That's the number One Girl REVO. And you can find more information on One Girl Revolution at onegirlrevolution.com. That's the number onegirlrevolution.com.